Hi everybody, this is Michelle, and I have an extra design team project that I'm doing for Country Craft Creations. These are papers that I did purchase from Country Craft Creations, and one of my YouTube viewers asked about a specific type of project, and I said I would work on it and try to figure it out. So as you know, time has gone on, I've had several requests and I've got a list going on. So this is the next one that I'm trying to fulfill. So Cindy, this one is for you. So again, these are papers that I purchased from Country Craft Creations, and I'll put links down below. This is Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Love Story. Beautiful, beautiful collection. And I got all the things. I did do a shopping haul video. I'll go ahead and list that down below as well, so you can go back and check that out. But I got the paper collection. I did get some extra because I wanted some extra papers for the cut-aparts. And I did get the coordinating cardstock that goes with it as well, the coordinating pattern paper packages that they have. I also, let's see, I used a bunch of stuff. Black artisan cardstock, lightweight chipboard from Country Craft Creations, and what we created, or what I created, is a photo file. So I'm going to try and turn this on the side so you can see. This is a beautiful little box that has almost like a Rolodex feel to it, and we'll go through this in just a second. But again, beautiful collection from Country Craft Creations, where I purchased that from the store, and let's go through this. And then once I go through the walkthrough, we're going to immediately go to a tutorial. So I have a tutorial following this. So what I've created, I'm calling it a photo file, and it's an amazing little project, and it's actually pretty easy. It looks kind of complicated. There's a few extra steps to do, but you know, it's pretty easy to do. We're going to create this nice shaped box, and it has handles so you can pick it up. And then inside you have 10 pages for 20 sides total of a file, a photo file that you can put all kinds of pictures in. You can do journaling in, and it's just great with this pattern paper collection. It just worked out really well. So I'll go through. We have 10 pages that are pockets and 10 pages that are photo mats. So on the pocket pages, I did stuff like added chipboard, layered stickers that I had with the collection. I have cut-aparts, and then on some of them, I took some of the die-cut ephemera pieces that I purchased with the collection. This one I put on a piece of the pattern paper and created a booklet out of it, which fit perfectly with that, and then it fits in this pocket. So on the pocket pages, there are two pockets here, shorter one and a taller one, and then you have photo mat pages. So I left the photo mat pages pretty plain because I wanted to be able to put, you know, like a 4x6 photo on them. And then it just kind of keeps going. So then we have more pocket pages, and I'll go through and then I'll turn it around and show you the other side because it is reversible. So again, I bought the tag page, or the tag cut-aparts come with the kit, and then I bought extras, and then here is another one of the cut-aparts. On this one here, I took one of the 4x6 cut-aparts. I put it on a piece of the coordinating pattern paper, or the coordinating cardstock, I should say, that came with the collection. And then I did a slit pocket in here. So I just cut a line underneath that book and then glued it on there so I could put a tag in there. And the tag was a library card, so I thought that was pretty perfect. I did use seam binding from Country Craft Creations. This is chocolate brown, I believe. And I made a little journal card photo spot, and then it just tucks right in here in the pocket. Again, another photo mat page, and we'll flip here, couple more cut-aparts, one of the chipboard stickers here, and then this particular 4x6 photo mat has a photo mat on the back. I used a leftover piece of the coordinating paper, and then I layered one of the die cuts here and then left it so you could put the picture underneath, and I just put it to the side and then cut it straight. So that goes in this top pocket here, photo mat page. And then back here, we have Another one, I tried to put some die cuts on all the pockets just to kind of decorate. I loved the layered collage look of this paper, so I really tried to use a lot of the product. I did another slip pocket here with another 4x6 cut apart, put one of the tags in there and just put it in there like that. And then the back is just a piece of the coordinating pattern paper. Photo mat page. So you can see how it alternates. On here, one of the 4x6 cut aparts. On the back, I added one of the pieces of coordinating paper and then another die cut here. So made a photo mat out of that. And then here, one of the die cut ephemera pieces, and I just put it on a piece of the coordinating paper to make another photo mat there. Photo mat page, and then the back. Let's turn this around. There's a couple more things to show you, and then we'll get to the tutorial. Here, again, another chipboard piece here. You have the Forever and Always 4x6 cut apart, photo mat on the back. Again, you can always put the picture behind. And then one of the pages that they have in this collection, they have the odd-sized cut aparts. I love those, and those fit perfectly in these pockets. These pockets here are 6.5 by 4.5 tall, and then I made a 2-inch and a 4-inch pocket here. So there's a lot of room here. So you can see that it's reversible. Here's some more tags. Go into those pockets. And again, more cut aparts. And then here is one of the ephemera pieces that I put on a piece of the leftover paper. And we keep going. Another one of the 4x6 cut aparts. And then on the back, I did 2 smaller photo mats and then the butterfly in the middle. I love that. You make this world beautiful. Isn't that pretty? What I love about you here, so a nice little journaling card you could put in there. And then another cut apart there. And then in here, I layered one of the large die cuts and a couple of the butterflies on top of the books, and then I did it so that it was a pocket, and then I just added 2 of the cut aparts in there because I thought that would be a great journal spot. And then on the back, again, another photo mat. So that tucks back in there, and then we go to the beginning. So here's the cool part about this. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So if you have watched my last tutorial, I did a magnetic explosion box where the boxes come apart. Well, so does this. So it has a magnet in there. They're in the bottom. I'll show you how to put that on there. And then I decorated the ends with some of the chipboard die cut pieces. So I just layered those little foam tape behind to keep them, and then over here as well. And so it's really kind of cool because you can take it out. You can take it out to work on it. Okay. You could do this in any orientation you want. I skip my photo pages. Let's start from the beginning. So it alternates between pocket pages and photo pages. I'm going to show you how to do all this in the tutorial, and just really a nice little fun photo file Rolodex type, I can't even talk, Rolodex type project, and really super easy to put together, and it's really fun. So then this just comes in and it attaches in there, and then you can see if I grab the first and the last pocket, it holds really well. So you could do this as an all-inclusive project. You could do this as, you know, I was thinking these boxes here would make great gift boxes too, because they're fun shaped and everything. You could do this in all kinds of different, you know, styles and different paper collections, but isn't that gorgeous? So that is the walkthrough. Let's go into the tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. Starting off by making the file box, we're going to need some lightweight chipboard. There's 5 pieces, so you'll need 2 that are 3 7/8 by 7, 2 that are 9 by 3, and 1 that is 7 by 6. So that's the lightweight chipboard. Then you're going to need some cardstock. So about 1.5 sheets to cover the inside. This is going to end up being the inside of our file box. And what I mean by to cover is you're just going to take your chipboard and you're going to lay it down on your Artisan cardstock. I'm using black. And then you're going to glue it down, and then you're just going to take a straight edge and cut all the way around it. So I've already prepared those. Once I did that, then I took some Vintage Photo Distress ink and just went around the sides of my chipboard just to kind of give that edge a little different color, because I don't really care for the color of the chipboard, but if you put a little distress ink on it, it probably isn't going to show, but if it does, then you'll have that beautiful distressed edge. So I'm going to do that, which I already did. And then you will need some additional cardstock. You'll need 2 that's 9 by 4 3/8, 2 that's 4 by 9 1/4, and then 1 that's 8 by 9 to finish the rest of this, okay? So we're going to start off with the bottom of our file box. I'm going to get these pieces out of the way, and then we'll go to those in a minute. So the bottom of the file box, we're going to use this to anchor the sides on it. The 7-inch side is going to be the front and the back, and then the 6-inch side is going to be your sides for this, okay? So once you get this covered, then we're just going to lay this down as if we were going to do it like a cover. We're going to have an inch border all the way around. So if you want to, we'll be super accurate here, and we'll lay that down like so. And then I'm going to grab a spacer here. This is the spacers from Country Craft Creations. And again, this will give a 1-inch border all the way around this piece of chipboard. So 9 by 8 is the size of the cardstock. We're going to take our chipboard, and then I'm using glue on this. So I'm just going to put glue all the way down around the edges. I need to get some score tape sheets is what I need to do. I need to order some because I am totally out. And I didn't really feel like putting in a bunch of lines of score tape today. So we're going to just do it this way. So you're going to lay that down just like we were going to do if we were going to wrap a cover. Okay. I'm just going to kind of burnish that down and make sure. I don't know where all that dust is coming from. Okay. And then I'm going to do, again, just like I'm going to do for a cover, I'm just going to go around, and then I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to go around again, okay? So again, just like we're doing for a cover, I'm just kind of training the paper a little bit and making sure that everything is nice and straight and glued down. And then I'm going to get my scissors, and I don't normally do this, but for this box project, we're going to do this. So actually what we're going to do, let's go ahead and just fold it all the way and then just create the corners, okay? So I'm just folding it all the way around. There, like so. Okay, so I have my scores in the corners. We're going to cut those out. And I don't normally do this when I'm wrapping covers and stuff, but that's one of the reasons why I did ink my chipboard. But this is going to be the inside of the box. Once we get the sides folded up, that's probably not going to show anyway, so I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to miter the corners out just a little bit, and I'm going to cut those scores to that, score. Okay, like so. I'm going to do that all the way around. So I'm just cutting to that score there. All 4 corners. Oop, I missed one. Or I didn't burnish it well enough because I can't see it. And like that. One more time. And I'm just doing little burnishes. What in the world did I do here? I didn't do that one either. Good gravy. All right. There we go. Okay. So I have all the pieces there. So this is prepped and ready to go. We're going to put this off to the side. Then we're going to grab our other pieces. So let's look at this piece right here. So this is the 3 7/8 by 7. This is going to go on the back and the front of our box, okay? So you're going to prep both of them with the black artisan cardstock on the other side of your, or the one side of your chipboard. So both of those, I've already prepared one. So you'll need to make 2 of these. So you're going to prep your chipboard just the same way, and then we're going to grab our piece of cardstock, and this is 4 3/8 by 9. When you lay this down, you're going to want a 1-inch border on 3 sides, okay? So we can do this by taking our scoreboard here. Oops, let's put it the other way here. And we can use our spacer again, and we're going to get glue. And we're going to put glue on the chipboard. So I've already backed it with artisan cardstock on the one side. I've already inked the chipboard. Add our glue. And then we're going to lay this down, and it should be flush with the bottom. If it's not, go ahead and make sure it is. Okay. You can scooch it a little bit if you need to. There we go. Wipe up a little bit of excess glue here. And then what you're going to do with this is we're going to prep it the same way as we did the bottom, but we're going to cut out the corners and then just miter these slightly, okay? These wings here on the sides are what is going to hold the other sides together. So those are going to wrap around the outside of the box and complete the box on the outside. This is going to cover that top edge of the chipboard. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and fold our sides here. And then I'm also going to go around the outsides, and I'm just going to give it a good burnish around the edges here. Let's do that. Okay, and then we're going to, this is going to be the bottom where you don't have that extra cardstock. So we're going to miter those. So I'm just going to cut a little bit. We may have to trim this a little bit, and you'll see what I mean in a second when we get to the other side, because they're different shaped. And then we're going to cut out the corners again, just like we did before. And I'm not mitering too sharply because I want to make sure that I've got enough cardstock. Okay, so we're going to do that. So we have 2 pieces now that are covered, front and back. So we've got the inside covered, and then the outside we have these tabs. We're going to fold this top one over, and then that is going to cover that top edge of the cardstock and kind of finish the box. So I'm going to put a little glue here at the edge, put some more here, and we're going to fold that over. This is going to be covered with pattern paper, so don't worry about the tab, okay? And then what I'm going to do is kind of go over the edge just a little bit, and then that's prepped. So that's all you're going to need to do for that. So again, this was the one I've already prepped. So I'm just going to fold that over again. And the top edge, I'm going to put a little glue here at the edge. And then I'm going to glue that tab over, and that will cover that raw edge of my chipboard. Okay. Spongy out of the way. Okay, so there you have that. There, the sides are done, or should I say the front and the back. These are the front and the back, okay? Tabs going to the inside. Your wings are going to hold the side pieces on. So we'll put that off to the side, and then we'll grab our side pieces. Now this is where it's going to get a little trickier, but it's totally doable. You do need to have 2 pieces of chipboard, again, that are 3 by 9, and we are going to prep both of them. You're going to take this piece here, and we're going to grab our ruler and a pencil, and on this side here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure in 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to draw a tick mark. Measure in 1.5 inches and draw a tick mark on the other side. And then you're going to connect that tick mark to that corner and cut it off. That's where this piece is coming in, okay? I kept it because I wanted to show you. Also, I want you to keep it because we're going to use it to cut the angles for the pattern paper that will eventually cover this, okay? So, it's already ready to go. So I'm going to grab my cutter. You can do this any way that feels comfortable. You can do a straight edge and do that. You can put it in your cutter. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to put it in my cutter. So hang on just a second. Okay. So I've cut my 2 corners off. So this bottom edge should measure 6 inches, and it does. And the top edge will measure 9. These are going to be the sides of our boxes. And again, this side here is going to be on the inside because we've already prepped that. I'm going to keep my 2 pieces here because I'm going to use that for measuring. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 pieces that are 9¼ by 4. And I think, what did I do? I have 2 of them. Yep, there's my second one. Thought I lost it. So we're going to take it, we're going to glue it down, and it's 9¼ because I wanted to make sure I had enough past the points so that we get a good coverage on those points. So you will have to trim those off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue and I'm just going to center this. I'm going to put the bottom 6 inches flush at the bottom, making sure that it's all laid down nice. Okay, so all you did was measure 1.5 inches from the bottom and then whack those off, and then we're putting them on here. So then my straight edge here is how I'm going to trim this up, like so. Okay, so I'm just going to cut those off, maybe. If I press hard enough, I will. And then you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. So what you're going to need to do is just kind of miter those edges a little bit after we fold this over. So we're going to fold this over. Don't worry about anything yet, okay? And then we're going to go along the edge. Okay? We're going to fold that over. We're going to glue it down just like we did the other pieces. And this doesn't need tabs on the side because the side tabs on the other pieces we just did are the ones that are going to attach everything, okay? And I put too much glue on there. Of course I did. Then you can just cut those off like so on that edge, okay? All right. There we go. So you have a piece that looks now like that. All right. That's going to be the inside of your box. And again, it's going to be covered with pattern paper, so we don't have to worry about that. All right. So let's do that one more time, just so that makes sense. Okay. So this will be the inside. The tab's folded over. It's folded over the chipboard. So you have a nice smooth edge here, okay? And the little bit that was extended over was on purpose because I wanted to make sure that I had enough to cover those points, okay? So we have that piece. Here's our second piece, okay? Already prepped the one side. Here's our cardstock. We're going to glue it down. I'm going to turn it sideways so I can see it a little bit better. And I'll make sure, oops, that my point is inside that cardstock. So that's why I did cut it a little bit wide, or wider than I needed to, because I wanted to make sure about those points. Okay. Okay. So then I'm going to cut this off. Apparently I need a new blade. Okay. I'm going to cut this off. Okay. So you're left with that. You can fold that over. Got a little glue on there, didn't I? There we go. I'm going to go around the edge. Okay, that's going to fold over and glue. This time I'm not going to get carried away on the corners with my glue. Okay. Well, I did anyway, didn't I? Okay. Then I'm going to trim that up. Oh, for crying in the night. Why am I so weird today? I have no idea. I don't know. All right, now this one here, because we cut the edge, I need to ink it. So I'm just going to grab my ink, kind of ink that just a little, just to make sure that if a little bit of my chipboard shows, it's at least going to be inked. Okay, so there's that. All right, so then let's put the box together. So let's grab, we've got our two side pieces, we've got our bottom, and we've got our sides. So these pieces here are going to glue to the tabs of the bottom. Okay, so we've got the front and the back piece here. Now, when we did our burnishing back here, and let's go ahead and do it again, just so we have a clear score line to look at. What I'm going to want to do, so what I'm doing is giving myself kind of a nice clear score line that I can see, because when I lay these pieces down, I want to make sure, I don't want to put them right up against the chipboard. I want to be like right on the other side of the score line. And I don't know if you can see it, but when we do that, we kind of give ourselves roughly like a 1/16 of an inch or so. We want to make sure that our box sides, have a little bit of a gap, because we're going to fold them up like so. Okay, so when I glue these down, just make sure you have a little bit of a gap, and that score line that we just created by all that folding will help guide us. Okay, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay that down, try and make sure it's nice and even, right on the other side of that score line. And then when it folds up, they should meet perfectly. Okay. All right, so there's that. And then we're going to do the other side. So this is the front and the back. The 7-inch side is the front and the back of our file. All right. And again, I'm just going right on the other side of that score line, making sure everything's nice and straight. Okay, like so. So we have the front and the back done. They'll fold up like so. Then we're going to do our sides. So our sides will, you can see the 6-inch side will match perfectly here. The one thing you do need to kind of look at is we may have to do a little bit of, well, maybe we won't. Never mind. Scratch that and reverse it. Oh my gosh, you guys. If you haven't seen the new Willy Wonka movie called Wonka, you need to see it. We saw it in the theaters. It was amazing. That is like my favorite movie of all time. I just love that movie. You know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original with Gene Wilder. Oh my God, I love that movie. So this movie was super awesome. And if you love the original, you will love that. Okay, so now we have that. Let's turn it over. All right, we're going to do that one more time. And that's going to be the base of our file. Okay, just like so. Okay. All right, so before we make the box, we're going to put some pattern paper on, but I just wanted to show you that the reason why these are wider than this is because of the angle that we ended up cutting. So when this comes up, those two sides should match absolutely perfectly, okay? Now, you'll notice that these tabs, we're going to have to do kind of a sharper miter, but we're going to do that in just a minute, okay? But that's basically the box, okay? So this is put together, ready to do. Now, let's talk pattern paper. On the inside for pattern paper, I'm using 2 pieces that are 6 7/8 by 3 1/4, 2 pieces that are 8 3/4 by 2 7/8, and 1 piece for the bottom that's 6 7/8 by 5 7/8. Now, this one here we cannot put down yet because we are going to be setting some magnets. So put this off to the side. I chose the beautiful lovebirds because if you take the photo file out of the box, or, you know, if you just want to make this as a box or a basket and then give it as a gift, I just thought that was a really pretty paper to use on the inside. So I'm going to set that off to the side. So the insides here, we have the 2 square ones here for the front and the back. And then we have to cut our angle for our pattern paper. And this is where we're going to use our template. So you can either use your template or you can measure in 1 3/8 and then cut it. But I'm going to use my template that I created when I cut those angles off of my chipboard, okay? So if I take and lay this so it's right to the edge and the point is right at the top, and I'll turn this over just so you can see it. So I'm going to make sure that it's nice and straight. So the point is right there at the top. You will have some hanging off the bottom. That is perfectly what you want, but it's even with that edge, okay? If it's easier for you to hang on to, you can use a couple clips to keep it in place. And then you're literally just going to take your scissors and cut it, okay? And this should give you the proper angle that you need for matting your box. Can you see? I hope you can see that that is basically, that's perfect. Okay. So again, we're going to do the same thing. I recommend that you do these and then dry fit them before you get crazy with, you know, gluing them down. You can use this piece here on the other side. Okay. Because it's basically should be the same angle, right? So keep those and use as a pattern. That way you don't have to measure everything all the time, okay? So then we're going to do it again with this piece here. So I'm trying to figure out, it's that side up. So we're going to need to put our triangle here. And then just make sure you do the angles the proper way, because there's nothing worse than cutting one angle one way and one angle the other way. And then it doesn't work and you have to cut another piece of paper. So I'm just cutting that off. And again, I'm going to dry fit just to make sure. And it looks pretty darn perfect. If I lay that down, the angle is just perfect. Okay. So I'm going to use this piece again on this other side and make sure that the angle is correct. And then I just held it with my fingers last time, but I think this time what I'll do is I'll use that, hold it in place, and then I'm just going to go from the corner and cut that off. Okay, just like that. All right, so I'm going to ink these two, and then I am going to put them on, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the outside. The inside is covered with the pattern paper. So now what you can do if you want to is go ahead and set your magnets. So if I can find what I did with my magnets, there they are, found them. We can go ahead and do that and then cover it with pattern paper and then set it off to the side. Okay. So I'm going to take two of my positive sides. You will need two sets of magnets for this. And it, you know, doesn't really matter if you put them up and down or side to side. It doesn't matter. It just matters that you have enough room to cover with pattern paper around. Okay. These are going to help the photo file stay in place when we do it. You can get real technical and totally center them and measure them if you want to. I'm not going to because this will set in one way once we set the actual file part into this box. Okay, so I'm saving the negative sides for now. And then, so once those are down, then we can, I like to cover these with a little bit of score tape. Like so. Got some 1-inch score tape pieces here. And then I'm going to just lay down that pattern paper over. So it just, take that off. We've got my little lovebirds here. Okay. And then I'm going to center that over the bottom. And I know it's black paper and it's kind of hard to see, so I apologize for that, but I just thought that the black would be absolutely stunning with this collection. So, but you definitely could use white because you could play on the white with the lace here. You could use natural. I think Summer Ivory has a little bit of a yellow tint. I think that would be gorgeous. Craft brown. I think even the burgundy paper would be stunning with this collection. So there's lots of artisan cardstock pieces that you could use. Okay, so now that we've got the inside done, let's look at the outside. So we can't cover these two yet because the tabs need to cover those first and create the box shape, but we can cover the front and the back. So for the solid pieces all together, so we'll make two sides with the angles and then we'll make two front and back. You need two solid pieces of pattern paper, which is what I used from the cardstock, the coordinating solid cardstock that comes with this collection. 2 at 6 7/8 by 3 1/4, and then 2 at 8 3/4 by 2 7/8. The pattern paper here, you'll need 2 at 6 5/8 by 3, and then 2 that are 8 3/8 by 2 5/8. Okay, so we'll take the first pieces here, the 6 7/8 by 3 1/4, and then the pattern paper is 6 5/8 by 3. And we're going to go ahead and you can put those on your box. Now just make sure that you remember that this is going to be, you know, upright on the outside. So make sure your orientation is correct, okay? If you're using papers that have a direction on them. So I'm just going to glue those down. I did ink the edges again of all of this. And I'm just going to center that. There we go. So you can cover the front and the back on the outside. Okay, so then I'm going to just turn it around. I want to make sure that this is going to be right side up. Let me put that right there. So I have my little birdies right side up. And I'll go ahead and glue that down. And then we'll talk about the sides, the angled sides. All right, like so. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side for just a second so we can work on it. I did not use any pattern paper to cover the bottom of the box, but you can if you want to. So we need to create these shapes. So this is 2 7/8 by 8 3/4, and this is 8 3/8 by 2 5/8. Okay, so we're going to cut the angles, and again, what you're going to do is you're going to use your angles again to create that shape. Okay, so we're going to set this down, line up those points. We're going to use our clippies, maybe if I can get my fingers to work, and then I'm just going to cut that angle off. Like so, okay? And then one more time, we're going to do the same thing. I'm lining it up so that the point is at the top and it's flush to the side. And you will have a little bit hanging off the bottom. That's fine. That's what you want. Okay, and cut those off. Okay, there's one. Using the same piece, get my little pieces out of the way. I'm making a mess is what I'm doing. I'm lining this up, making sure my birds are in the right orientation. Okay, now you'll notice you got a little bit more chipboard showing on the bottom. That's fine, because that's exactly what you want to do. And we're just going along the edge of that. Okay, and then we're going to do it one more time. Make sure our angles are good. Use your clips. If you want to be bold, go ahead and just do it, which is what I did the first time, and the second time I did it. But yeah, use your clips. These are great clips, so anything will work. Little clothespins, whatever. Okay, and then dry fit this. And you should have a perfectly centered piece. So then let's just ink those edges real quick and glue it together. And then there's one more thing we need to do before we glue this down onto the box. We need to make some handles, and then we're going to form the box. Okay, so I've got that. Then get our glue. This box would be great in and of itself to put a gift in. I think it's an awesome shape. It's really pretty. It would be a great basket. You could fill it with all kinds of things. I can imagine, you know, like using this, you know, not only for you know, Valentine's Day, but if you did it, you could do it for Mother's Day coming up. If you did masculine papers like chaps from Country Craft Creations, you could totally do a Father's Day gift with this. I think it'd be amazing. Okay, so you have your 2 pieces, and then if we look at our box, they're going to fit just perfectly there. Okay, but we're going to have to actually form our box shape first, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's finish this up. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set some eyelets and make a handle. So I went through my stash and I had this really pretty black velvet ribbon that we're going to be using. So on the back of your piece, I'm going to turn it so the top is down to me. We're going to measure down 1 inch and then measure in 2 inches from the edge, okay? And we're going to make a little dot here, and that's where we're going to punch our holes for our eyelets. So I'm measuring again 1 inch down and then 2 inches in, and I'm going to put a hole there, or a dot, and then 1 inch down, and I'm just using my ruler here and measuring 2 inches in. So there's 1, 2, here, okay? So dot here and a dot here. Do it one more time. 1 inch down. I've got my ruler with the 4 inch at the side, so I'm just going to go in 2 inches and make a dot, and then do it one more time. Whoop! Don't let your ruler move. 1 inch down, 2 inches in. So we have our holes, or our dots. And then, let me find my eyelets. Eyelets! Okay. So I'm using, these are from my stash as well. I've had them for a while, and they're big and they're pretty and I like them. So grab your crocodile and use the big side. I'm just going to poke this in, and I'm going to center that pencil mark and punch a hole. Okay. Do these individually. Well, I'm going to do them individually. You could actually, you know, put them together if you wanted to and just measure once and then do that. That would probably have saved you a few seconds making this project. But then we're going to go ahead and do this. Set our eyelets. So I'm going to put that in there. One more time. Okay. I chose these kind of black ones. I thought they matched the paper really pretty, and I thought that the black velvet ribbon that I had in my stash was going to match perfectly. So there you go. You have that. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to need 2 pieces that are 7 inches long for your ribbon. So I'm going to, and I want to make sure that they are even. So, okay, 2 7-inch pieces. All right. On the back of this, you're going to take your score tape, and I'm going to use a little bit of 1/4 inch score tape, and I'm going to measure about 1 inch beyond the eyelet and put some score tape there. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but about 1 inch beyond that eyelet. All right. And then we're going to thread the ribbon through here. Making sure that the velvet side, the pretty side, is on the outside. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm using that score tape measurement, and I'm just going to lay that down right on so that 1 inch of that is being secured. Okay. Make sure that we're still where we want to be. You can use any ribbon you want for this. So the end of my score tape, end of my ribbon right there, and then I'm going to just pull that and secure it. Okay? And that is going to be the little side handle for your project. Okay? I'm going to do that again, and I will be right back, and we'll put it on the box, or we'll make the box, and then we'll put it on the box. All right, so now inside of the box, we're going to go ahead and we're going to form our box shape. Now you'll notice that the tabs are extending above this, so we need to trim those down a little bit more sharply. So this is a little bit of trial and error just to make sure that it fits underneath here. Okay, so we're just going to, again, just kind of more sharply miter those top edges so that when they fold over, they don't extend beyond the top of the box. Okay, so we got those two. Let's do this. They will go on the outside of your box. Okay. Let's do this one. Making sure before we add any glue, that one needs to go a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So that's done. Now we glue it together. Okay. When we glue it together, I'm going to put glue right at the edge here because I want to kind of glue the sides of the chipboard together. And then I'm going to put glue on the tabs. And then I'm going to bring this up. And when I bring this up, I'm going to make sure that my chipboard matches. Okay. And then I'm going to wrap this around. Okay. I hope you can see that. And it's to the outside of the box. My inside is there. I'm going to grab my clip and put that there. And then you can kind of go in and smooth a little bit of the excess glue if you need to, but you don't necessarily have to because we kind of want to have that little extra security there. So we're just going to do that all the way around. Okay. Now that you've got kind of your box started to be formed, it's a little bit more awkward to do, but it can be done. Okay, that goes on the outside. We're going to bring our box up. You're going to match your chipboard. And then wrap that around. Okay. Grab a clip. Isn't that cute? Look at that. Isn't that adorable? It's already adorable. I love it. Now this one, if you want, you can go ahead and do both of them at the same time. Probably will be easier than trying to figure that out. So let's just go ahead and do that. All right, so matching my chipboard. Wrapping it around. I love art glitter glue. It does catch quickly, so that's nice. You don't have to sit and hold it for a super long period of time. It does catch pretty quickly. But because of the angle of the box, I just want to make sure with these clips, you know, I give it a few seconds to hold. All right. So I'm just really, really finger pressing on the outside. And there you go. Okay. That glue will dry clear. No one will ever see it. And there is your box. Isn't that gorgeous? I just absolutely love how that turned out. Okay. Now that we have that done, so we don't forget, we can put our magnets over top of the magnets that are there, and then we'll have those ready to go to set when we're ready to do that step. Okay, so we won't lose them. All right. All right. So now all we have to do is set our sides. So I'm going to grab one of the sides, and then we'll glue that down on both sides, just like so. Now, I do want to say that I did put a little bit of extra score tape across the ends of those ribbons, just to give it a little bit extra security. And I'm going to have to stand up so I can see this, and I hope you can see it too. Yes, you can. Isn't this basket just gorgeous? I just love it. Putting my glue on. Oop, hang on. Trying to get it centered. There we go. A lot of finger pressing going on here. All right, there's the side. Let's do the other one. And then we can work on the insert that goes in it. All right, box is made, and it just looks really pretty. I just love how it turned out. Pretty gorgeous. All right, so let's put this off to the side, let it kind of dry and do its thing, and then let's talk waterfalls. Okay, for the waterfall insert, you're going to need a piece of chipboard. So again, I'm using lightweight chipboard that's 6.5 by 5.5, and then we're going to cover it with cardstock at 8.5 by 7.5, and we're going to do it just like we were going to do a lay flat book cover. If you're not familiar with that, I'll put a link down below, but I went ahead and already prepped that just to save a little bit of time. And then you're going to need one other piece of cardstock that's 6 3/8 by 5 3/8. That's going to cover once we set the magnets, and you see that I Michelle-proofed myself to make sure that I set the magnets on there first, and then that will cover the magnets. Okay, so chipboard, wrap it with your artisan cardstock. This is going to be the top side, so the side you're going to see, we're going to set the magnets here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my magnet pieces, the tape off, and then I'm going to lay this down in here, and you will have a 1/4 inch border all the way around. So I'm just kind of lining that up. I'm pressing them down, and then my magnets are set. Okay, so they will go in just like that. If you put them in the opposite direction, you can see that they're going to be a little wonky, so this will go one way. However, when we get this project done, it will be, you could look at it from the front, or you could look at it from the back. Okay, so there's that. I think it's off just a little bit, so I'm going to do that again just for giggles. I didn't press them down too hard so I could do that. If you don't get it right the first time, you can take those off and you could set it down again. 1/4 inch all the way around. Yeah, I like that better. It was just off a little bit to my eye. Okay, so that's done. then this can go on the top of that. So again, I'm going to grab this score tape. I'm just going to reinforce that just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to take this off and I'll take that off. Glue this on, okay? And then that'll be the bottom part of the file. Now, if you don't necessarily have to put magnets in here. I just thought it would be nice just to make sure that things don't fly around all over the place. But again, you do not have to do that. Okay, I just wanted to. You can take it out easy, and then when the magnets, when it's in the file, the magnets will hold everything nice and secure. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's the base for our waterfall. It'll go like that. The waterfall pages are, you'll need 5 of these that are 9.5 by 6.5. And basically we're kind of doing them like my stacked waterfall, but we're doing them all separately instead of kind of combining everything, because I was trying to save some paper and they were going to get too long to cover this, bit here. So I went ahead and did them separately. So again, 5 at 9.5 by 6.5. And then what you're going to do is put them in your scoreboard. Probably should tell you about that, huh? Put them in your scoreboard. You're going to score at 4.5 and at 5. Okay? All of the pieces are going to be done the same way. So then fold and burnish. All right. And then those are all going to be done the same way. So I'm going to do that, get a piece of pattern paper, and then I'll be right back and I'll show you how we're going to finish this. So I've cut a piece of paper that is 6 3/8 by 5 3/8, and I covered the top of the base piece. So my magnets are underneath here. This is the bottom side. And then I put my pattern paper on the top. And then what we're going to do is add the waterfalls to this. So remembering that the longer side, the 6.5-inch side, is the front, and our pages are going to lay down right on top of that, and they're going to go edge to edge. I did this because it's going to save you a little bit of extra time. So we're going to lay the waterfalls right on top of this, and then that way you only have to cut 5 3/8-inch strips for the middle of here instead of cutting for the whole thing. I just thought it was going to be easier and decided that's how I was going to do it. So you're going to glue these down at 1/2 inch between everything. So as I lay this in my scoreboard, I'm using the edges to kind of make sure everything's lined up. And I'm going to line this first one up right flush to the edge at 1/2 inch. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm getting my hair in the way. I'm going to lay that down. Okay. And burnish it. Okay. So then I have my first waterfall piece done. Okay. I'm going to put that in. You can see that the back side of it is at 1 inch. So we're going to take the next one. Put our glue there, making sure everything's nice and lined up. And then I'm going to line that up at 1.5 inches. So 1 inch, or excuse me, 1/2 inch in between everything. Everything's nice and lined up. And we're going to do that all the way down with all 5 pages. Then you're going to end up with 10 pages. Okay? So glue Now you'll notice I also did edge punch the top corners of my waterfall pages. I felt like it. You don't have to, but I have a decorative edge punch that I went ahead and used. Okay, 2 more to go. Okay, so we're just making sure there's 1/2 inch in between everything. Everything's lined up. I'm using the sides of my scoreboard to help me make sure everything's straight. So now you can see these are already ready to go. You don't have to cut extra pieces of paper for that. So you just have to do the ones on the pages themselves, which is kind of a nice little time saver. Nice little trick to do if you're doing something along these lines. All right. Then last one at 4.5 here, making sure everything's lined up. And you should have a beautiful 1/2 inch space back there. Okay, there you go. So you should have something that looks like that. Go ahead and get that extra bit of glue there. Everything should be nice and lined up. All right, you've got all this is creating a nice place so that you don't have to put pattern paper down there. So you just have to do the 5 strips like I said, and there you go. So that is that. Then what I did was I made pages, or pockets for the pages. So this requires a little bit of cutting, and because I made 10 of them, so you can make as many or as few as you want. You can stack them like I did. So I'm stacking these. You could, put one on each page. Whichever configuration you want to do it, that's fine. But I did it this way. I did 10 at 7.5 by 4.5, and then I did 10 at 7.5 by 2.5. And I want to show you how I cut them out, because I was able to get 10 of the larger pockets out of 2.5 pieces of paper. And the way you do that, and I want to just show you this with a practice piece here, is to take your cardstock. 7.5 plus 4.5 equals 12. Okay, so you got 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, and I grabbed the wrong thing. I actually wanted my cutter. We're going to use the little fancy cutting trick here to get 4 of those out of 1 piece of paper. So you're going to need a cutter that does it like this. It won't work on a rotary cutter. At least I can't get it to work on a rotary cutter. And what you're going to do is we're going to cut 4.5 by 7.5. So you're going to line your paper up. And again, it's 12 by 12 because 7.5 plus 4.5 is 12. If the measurements were 7 by 4, that's 11. You would have to cut this paper into an 11-inch piece. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It'll make sense in here in just a second, because you're going to cut out the 4 corners strategically. So the first thing you're going to do is line up your paper at 4.5, and you're going to cut down. So you've lined it up at 4.5, you're going to cut down to 7.5. So you're going to be very careful, and you're going to follow your little ruler down, and you're going to stop at 7.5. You're going to lift this up, and then you're going to rotate your paper. So now your cut's at the bottom. Line it up at 4.5, and you can either start at the top again, or you can lay this down, and if it's at 7.5, then all you got to do is go back up. And now you have a 7.5 by 4-inch piece, or 4.5-inch piece. So that's 1 pocket right there. Then turn it, line it up at 4.5. Another pocket, 7.5 by 4.5. Turn it again, line it up to 4.5. Cut up. Pocket 3 and pocket 4 are here, and then this is all you have left over out of that piece of paper. So that's how I cut 10 pockets out of 2.5 pieces of paper. You can do this again on the third piece of paper, or you can just take and cut a 7-inch piece, or 7.5-inch piece, I should say, and then cut that into two 4.5-inch pieces, which is what I did. But this saves a lot of paper when you do it that way. So I wanted to show you that. So that's how I did that. So I already made the other 9 pockets. Let's make this, it's really this usual way that we usually do it. I'm going to score at 1/2 inch on the 2 short and 1 long side on both pieces, and miter the corners. I'm going to miter through the bottoms sharply because that helps reduce a little bit of bulk, and miter the top. Okay. We're going to fold and burnish. Fold and burnish. Okay. You're going to make 10 of these if you make it the way I did it. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Okay. This has 20 pages, so you have 10 pages with 20 sides, with 2 sides each, so that's 20 pages, right? So we're going to do 10 of these, and we're going to do 10 photo mats. So once you get this done, we're going to take the bottom pocket, the short one. Now you can do your envelope tab if you want to in these. I did not do that. But if you wanted to punch a little notch here before you glue it down, that's probably a good time to do it. I'm going to glue just the bottom one down only, and I'm going to line that up at the bottom of my pocket, bottom of the bigger pocket, I should say. And then I'm going to use tape. So in case you want to try to save paper and not put tape all the way, or put pattern paper all the way into the pocket, this will cover that edge, and then your tags and things will slip in really nice. Then you're going to glue up the top pocket. Like so. Okay. All right. So now you have a double pocket. This is the back of the pocket, and this is what's going to glue onto our page. So now you just need to decide what order you're going to put them in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pocket on the front here. Okay. So the very first page, it'll end up being on the last page too. Okay, so if we put a pocket here, just like that, let's go ahead and just do that just for visual. And then I thought it would be cool to do photo mats here and then put pockets here. All right, so we'll put pockets here. And then on the back here, like so. And I got a little bit too much glue there, and I didn't watch it. Oh well, it'll be okay. Right here and here. Okay, so we're going to alternate. So pocket, photo mats, pockets, photo mats. That's what I'm going to do. So all the way through. When you glue these down, I'll go ahead and take these out for just a second so I can show you. When you glue these down, you're going to do the tape trick again. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and lay that flat. Put glue on the bottom. And we're going to line that up at the bottom. Okay. And we're going to do the tape thing again before we glue it onto the page. Because then that way, again, if you don't want to put pattern paper all the way down the back of that pocket, you can just use a little strip up here at the top right here, and then you don't have to waste your paper. You'll save a lot of paper, and then your tags will slip in nicely. Okay, and then we'll just glue that up. All right, So then I'm just going to lay that down. This is the nice thing about this too, is you can totally lay it down and glue it. So then this first page here has this pocket, and then behind will be a photo mat. Okay. The one thing, just be careful not to put your pockets too far down, because you want to be sure that you can fold them over. Okay. So there's that. And then let's talk about the photo mats. All right. So for your photo mats, you're going to need 10 of these as well. Color number 1, which is basically the backing cover, is 6 3/8 by 4 3/8. And then color number 2 is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I did the same thing I did with the pockets to cut the photo mats out of. So it kind of really maximized the use of my coordinating colored cardstock that I had in my kit. So if you want to do, I'll show you how to do this again. All right. So our first color that we're going to do is the outer color. So for the mat, 6 3/8 by 4 3/8, we're going to have a piece of paper that measures 10 3/4 by 10 3/4, because 6 3/8 plus 4 3/8 is 10 3/4. Okay. So then you're going to put it in here, and the smallest measurement, so that 4 3/8, this is how we're cutting the mats. You're going to line that up, and you're going to cut down to 6 3/8. Okay. Lift it up, turn it, 4 3/8. And voila, you have your first photo mat. Okay. And then again, you're going to do it again. You're going to just keep turning it, line it up at 4 3/8, and keep cutting. Okay. And that's how you're going to cut those photo mats. So I will, since I already demonstrated a whole one, we'll go on to the next one. So this is the color number 2. So I'm using both colors, so you can see I'm using the fronts and the backs for these. So half of them are the pink and yellow, and then half of them are the pink and the green for the top. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm rambling. Okay. So this one, 6 1/4 and 4 1/4 is 10 1/2. So this is 10 1/2 by 10 1/2. We're going to start at 4 1/4 again, line it up at the smaller of the numbers. Okay. And then we'll go down to 6 1/4. Lift up, turn, line it up at 4 1/4. And then you have your other photo mat. Whoops, if I can get my fingers to work and get it out of there. So if you look at these before I punch them and ink them, they will be perfectly set. Okay, so I'm going to finish that. And again, those are going to be, here's our file. Okay, so here's our pocket, and back here are going to be photo mats, so you can mix and match however you want. You could put one like this and one like this. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do it yet. And then when you turn the page, we're going to have pockets, turn the page, more photo mats, and so on. You'll end up with a pocket on the back side, and then once this is all papered and decorated, and the nice thing about this is you know, you have it outside of the box, so it's really easy to take care of that. Then all you have to do is take and pop it into your box, and this will hold that in very securely and be absolutely beautiful. And then you just flip through your beautiful photo file. All right, so that, I think, is the end of my tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed designing it, so thank you to Cindy, one of my viewers, and for suggesting something. And I went with it, and this is what I came up with, and I just absolutely adore how this came out. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Go visit Country Craft Creations at countrycraftcreations.com. You can get the black artisan cardstock. You can get the lightweight chipboard, the art glitter glue, and the score tape that I used, and the beautiful pattern papers. These are just absolutely gorgeous, and I have you know, all of these that I'm going to be using to decorate it, which you've already seen. But this is Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Love Story, and it's absolutely a stunning, stunning collection. I think you're going to love it. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you soon with more fun things. Have a great day. Stay crafty. Bye-bye.